Recent disclosures reveal that an astounding 123 million rands were embezzled from South Africa's National Skills Fund, NSF, and used to buy a farm and fancy automobiles. Please kindly hit on the subscribe button as we go into the details. Outrage and demands for accountability have been generated by the revelation, which specifically target Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande, who is accused of trying to keep the devastating study private. Rather from being a source of education and training for the nation's workers, the NSF has come to serve a privileged few. According to investigations, the monies that were embezzled were used to purchase a large farm and luxury cars, which is a clear violation of the fund's objectives. Serious questions about the NSF's administration and governance have been raised by this finding. Employer levies support the fund, which is intended to keep South Africa's labor force competitive in the world market. Such a large sum being siphoned off not only weakens these efforts but also denies job and skill development chances to many persons. Blade Nzimande, the Minister of Higher Education, has come under fire when it was alleged that he tried to prevent the publication of the investigation findings. Nzimande's detractors contend that by requesting secrecy, he participated in a cover-up that shielded the fraudsters. According to those with direct knowledge of the situation, Nzimande knew the report's conclusions months before they were made public. Accusations of impeding justice and neglecting his responsibility to maintain accountability and openness in his department have been made in response to the minister's decision to withhold the material. Public uproar over the disclosures has resulted in calls for those responsible to face urgent consequences. Opposition parties and civil society organizations are demanding an independent probe of the NSF's financial management and the resignation of Minister Nzimande while the probe is ongoing. This corruption scope is horrifying. A Democratic Alliance spokesman called Minister Nzimande's effort to conceal this report's contents an affront to the principles of transparency and accountability. In order to rebuild public confidence in our institutions, we must act quickly and decisively. The controversy throws a lengthy shadow over the NSF and calls into question its capacity to carry out its mission. Comprehensive changes, strict supervision procedures, and the punishment of anyone found guilty of malfeasance are all necessary to rebuild trust in the fund. President Cyril Ramaphosa has promised that those involved would be held accountable and has called for a thorough inquiry in response to the outcry. The Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation in South Africa, or the Hawks, is anticipated to be crucial in determining the whole scope of the scam and apprehending its perpetrators. The mishandling of NSF monies serves as a sobering reminder of the continued difficulties South Africa has in the fight against corruption. The country will be carefully monitoring the investigation's progress to see if justice is done and whether structural improvements are put in place to avoid such abuses in the future. Once more, the mystery surrounding the encounter is increased by the businessman's unidentified identity. Nonetheless, some with direct knowledge of the matter allude to potential partnerships meant to support regional economic development projects in Kimberley, an area that is often disregarded in national economic planning. Both Shivambu and Malema have refrained from making any public comments on the meeting, keeping everything under wraps in a way that only piques people's interest. Additionally, the EFF has not provided any hints or confirmations on the topic of the talks via its official channels. The political ramifications of this encounter cannot be disregarded, even while rumors persist. If a big agreement is really being worked on, it may indicate a shift in the EFF's approach and change the political environment before the next elections. There's little question that the country will be attentively observing any discoveries that may come from this mysterious meeting. The Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, are celebrating their 11th anniversary, and their core values are still a potent rallying cry for change. There is a strong resonance with Juliusmalema's call for black control of banks, industries, mining, and vital areas. It's an economic liberation concept that aims to make up for historical structural injustices and create a more equitable future. The EFF's position is based on the harsh facts of South Africa's economic situation. White ownership and power endure in a democracy, sustaining past injustices. By enacting drastic economic change, the party hopes to end this cycle and give black people the ability to take control of their own lives. This is about more than just ownership transfer. It's about